So today I'm going to talk about the combining SAS datasets. So then there are four types of the combining the SAS dataset. So first one is the one-to-one reading, and second one is concatenating, third one is interleaving, and fourth one is mesh merging. So here we would like to learn how to merge the dataset throughout these four types, and we would like to look at the detailed cases on each details on each cases, and also we would like to learn the best method in the case when you want to merge data sets. So first one is the one-to-one reading. So in the last lecture you have learned the set statement to read the existing SAS data set. So if we have the air data named air data set, and then this air data set is we just call the data from the SAS help.air. As I talked in the last time, so if you want to do the data manipulation, then you need to first declare the new dataset name. Say this example air data, and then use the set statement. And put the name on the original SAS dataset. So set statement is the useful to read the existing dataset, and you can also use the multiple set statements in the dataset to combine the datasets. That is called one-to-one reading. So you have a new output dataset in the data step, the set, and then use the set statement with the first dataset, and then use the set statement in the second dataset. Let's look at the details on this one-to-one reading. So if you use this set statement, the new dataset contains all the variables. If there is the variable which overlaps, then the latest dataset values from the latest dataset overrides the values were read in the earlier dataset. So in this two data case, so if they have the same variable, then the data which is read in this second set statement overrides the variable in the set one. When the first data set, the second data set have the overlapped variable. And then number of observations in the new dataset is the number of observations is the smallest original dataset. So if two datasets has the different observations, the different number of observations, then the data step stops after it has read the last observations, the smallest dataset. So let's look at the this example. So if you have SAS dataset C and 1, 3, 5, and a variable A1, A2, A3, value A1, A2, A3, and SAS D has the two observations, 2, 4 number, and B is the B1 and has a B1 and B1 value and B2 value. And if you use the one-to-one reading by using the set statement, first set statement reads the first observation in the data C. So it first reads the first observation, which is the num1 and variable A, which is A1. And num2 is variable B1 is going to be read. So it has the, and then these two are different variables. So we have a different variable B, and then and so it has the B1 is the, and comes here, and then so num has the, we have a common variable, and then this num2 overrides this number 1, so it only shows the num2 in here. Next, so we read the so the SAS reads the num3 and A2 in this data set C. So we have num3 and A2, and then the second set statement reads the second observation from data D. And then since we have the common variable num, and then here the 4 overreads the 3. So 4 is here, and A2 is still there, and now the value of variable B comes here, so which is B2. And then the SAS procedure stops. So the data step does not read the third observation in the data set C. So we only have the 2 observations. So A1 and A2 which from data C, B1 and B2 from data D, num2 from the data set D. So let's look at the another example. So we have 2 data sets, grade 1 and grade 2. And then in the data set 1, we have a writing and reading scores for the 5 students. We have ID, gender, school type, read and write. And data set grade 2, and we have math, science, and social study scores for 3 students. So we have ID, gender, school type, math, science, and social study. And then let's do one-to-one reading. Then before you looked at the results, and imagine what result would be from this combining. So if you look at this result, so as you expected, so we have ID 1 to 3 is they're exactly the same for the, so overlap the first and second data set. We have now ID 1 to 3, and we have gender 100, which is which are read from the second data set. The school type would be public, private. And then read score and writing score. So the SAS only reads the first 3 observations. So we have reading score, writing score for first 3 observations from data set grade 1. And then we have a math, science, social studies score from the grade 2. So we have the math and science social studies score from the grade 2. So so here the one-to-one reading. So we looked at it only reads the 3 observations, first 3 observations, and this is the kind of mixture of the first data set and second data set. So in this case, the gender and school type and ID they are overlapped. So the gender, ID, school type on the second data set will appear, and the read and write score from the grade 1 data set appear, and then the math, science, and social studies score from the grade 2 data set will appear. now let's talk about the concatenating. So the concatenating, in this concatenating, it just appends the observation from one data set another data set are you using the set statement. So which means that it just combine the data set literally, just I would say just appending on here. So here, in this case, we still use the set statement, but we do not use the two set statements. We only use one statement, and then we just declare this first data set and the second data set in the one line to concatenate. So this concatenating, so all the observations will be read from the first data set, and also all the observations will be read from the second data set. So for example, if you look at the this example, data set A, data set C, so we have the three observations, num 1, 2, 3, and variable A, A1, A2, A3. And data set C, num 1 to 4, and variable B with the B1, B2, B3. And if we do concatenate on here, you can see that all the variables in the variable A and the num shows in the first. So SAS first read the first data set, and then SAS read the next data set, and then here variable A and B, they are not overlapped. So B1, B2, B3 on here. Then for combined part from A on variable B is the missing value, and then combined part from data set C on variable A part is missing because we don't have variable A on this data set C, so they are missing on here. So concatenating is literally just the put data side by side, and if for non-overlapping variables, then if the original data set does not have the variable in the another data set, then it treats as missing. And for common variables, it literally reads all the values in here. So the common variable in both data should have the same type, numeric or character. And the first data set determines the length, label, format of the common variables. So if you have the different lengths on overlapped variables or the common variables, then you may want to specify the length before you read the data set, so that you do not have any problem on the data reading. Because if the first data set here the first data set determines the length. So if the first data set has a length as the data set and the common variable on A and C, for example, if this num has here, it has for data set as a first digit, and if data set C, the num has it say 2 digits, then this data set concatenated without any option by default, the concatenating, it only shows the one digit on here. So in this case, you may want to specify the length before you read the data, or before you concatenate the data, so that you don't have any problem to show this non-variable after concatenating. So if we concatenate 2 data sets, grade 1 and grade 2, then you can see that the so by concatenating, we have the first data set shows in here, and then the first data set doesn't have math, science, social studies score, so it is the empty. They are the missing values. And then for the second data set is the appears after the first data set. So ID, gender, school type, they are the common variables. It just shows on here. And then the second data set does not have the reading and writing score, so it they are missing on here. And then we have another data set, grade 3, consisting of the reading and writing scores for another students. So we have 4 observations, and we have gender, school type, reading and write, which is the complete so common. We have the common variables on in grade 3 and grade 1. So if you combine these two, then you see the first 5 observations from grade 1, and then these 4 observations from the grade 3 on here. So this concatenating, we read all the data sets. So if you literally read about all the data sets, and this concatenating is the very useful tool.